is you continue to take shots at her, and then when them shots get fired back, nobody likes it. We don't have no videos of Caitlin Clark really taking shots at Angel Reese. Look at what Angel Reese and Reebok are doing for views. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. This is promo they're doing in Indianapolis, where Caitlin Clark plays. That is a clear shot. It's a clear shot. Like I said, this is a fake rivalry. I think you've won one game versus Caitlin Clark. You've never won in Indiana at all. It's just like you continue to attach yourself to her at every turn. Users
want to know the exact second everything went left? Angel Reese tried to steal the spotlight, but it flipped on her fast. So get this. Reese drops her big flashy shoe campaign right in the middle of WNBA All-Star Weekend, hoping to dominate all eyes in Indianapolis. Giant billboards, flashy promo clips, non-stop posts, she didn't hold back. But then, bam! Caitlin Clark suffers a groin injury right before the weekend kicks off, and ticket prices tank a savage 48%. Just like that, Reese's headline moment starts looking more like a desperate grab for attention in a half-empty stadium. And this ain't just internet noise, it's numbers talking. When Clark's not on that court, the buzz vanishes. Folks weren't showing up for stunts or sneaker drops. Reese was out here trying to shine, but the whole thing felt awkward. The timeline went wild, dragging her moves all weekend long. If you're giving her side-eye too, go ahead and drop a baby giraffe in the comments. This weekend was supposed to be the crown jewel for women's hoops, a real takeover moment. The showdown everyone was waiting for, Clark versus Reese, center stage in Indy. The whole setup was built for fireworks, packed arenas, wild fans, record-breaking views that would finally force mainstream sports media to give women's basketball its due. ESPN had their cameras rolling, brands were ready to cut checks, and Indy was lit like it was March Madness all over again.
Clark has never said a negative word about Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark has never said a negative word, or like, to be honest, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, like, she did show it by her actions. Showed it by her actions. She didn't need to say, I'm taking over Chicago. She did, though, however, go and put up 31 and 12, set a career high with 12 assists, be the only player in the history of the WNBA ever to have 31 and 12 in a game. She did, in fact, do that and then try to hype up the Chicago crowd. So it's like, fair enough, you want to say, oh, Caitlin Clark did this, then show it with your actions. Go and win MVP. Go and win MVP. Don't just be like, this is my city. Don't just come in and be like, this is my city. You've never won a game. Has she won a game in Indiana? I don't think she's ever won a game in Indiana. I actually do not think she has won a pro game in Indiana.
But the second Clark's injury hit the news, everything flipped. Just days before tip-off, and the whole setup started falling apart fast. Fans had been planning this for months, booking flights, grabbing jerseys, and locking in hotels just to watch Clark light it up in her home state. Local spots were stocked and ready like it was March Madness Part 2. And suddenly, it all crashed. The promo machine had already gone full throttle. Major brands threw down big cash, betting heavy on one thing. Clark versus Reese was going to be the clash that set the league on fire. Nike had limited edition drops ready to move like hotcakes. ESPN was hyping it like the Super Bowl of women's hoops. Social media? A total war zone. Fans arguing, countdowns ticking, predictions flying left and right. It was all leading up to Clark taking center stage at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, set to run the court like royalty. Indiana fans were buzzing, ready to pack the arena and show the world what real hoop energy looks like. The story had all the pieces. Hometown hero, biggest weekend of the year, lights shining bright. It was meant to be iconic. But then, boom, everything flipped on its head. News of Clark's injury spread online like wildfire, and you could feel the whole vibe shift. That epic showdown? Wiped out. No official cancellation, but everyone knew. The moment was gone. All those polished ads, flashy promos, and brand hype suddenly felt hollow. The weekend's main event got erased before it ever even started. Ticket prices chopped nearly in half overnight. And let's be real, this wasn't some random player tweaking an ankle. This was Caitlin Clark, the same one who brought in a whole new crowd of fans. Folks who never even looked at women's hoops were suddenly locked in because of her.
The ticket prices. The demand fell off a cliff. And it's not just the on-court product that suffers without number 22, Caitlin Clark. The entire weekend's economic opportunities have felt the fallout. This was conveyed with a July 18th post from NBA Central that wrote, quote, "The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48%. From $121 a ticket to $64 a ticket after the news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing." I mean, the tickets lost 50% of its value. These numbers are confirmed by TickPick's website, currently having the All-Star Game's get-in price at $64. And a July 16th article from Front Office Sports, which was posted before Clark announced she'd be sitting out, was $121.
She gave the league that mainstream spark, and the minute she was out, boom, gone like smoke in the wind. Her absence didn't just shake things up, it exposed the whole foundation. The one real game changer was missing, and the energy dipped hard. What was hyped as a turning point for women's basketball turned into a cold dose of reality, reminding everyone how fragile the WNBA's momentum still is. All that build-up, the interviews, the banners, the big brand checks, it was all banking on one thing, Clark showing up and shutting it down. But once she was out, the whole vibe crumbled. It became crystal clear. A huge chunk of the league's current buzz is sitting on Clark's shoulders. This wasn't just about a player missing a game. It was about losing the one star who made the whole weekend matter. What should have been a celebration felt more like a wake-up call. The league's got heart, but it's still climbing, and the road ahead is long. And while Clark was stuck healing and fans were crushed they wouldn't get to see her live, someone else saw a wide-open lane to grab all the shine. Angel Reese hit the gas with a full-blown media ambush. While Clark was out, Reese flooded the city with her "I'm in your city" takeover, Reebok sneakers, massive billboards, non-stop posts. It was an all-out blitz, right in her rival's backyard. And the craziest part? Reese used Clark's face in her promo, promoting herself while Clark couldn't even suit up and defend her turf. That move had people talking real quick. Reese's timing? Depends how you look at it. It was either a major misstep or a cold, calculated play.
From $121 all the way down to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing. These are people saying, I'm done. I don't want to watch. Caitlin Clark's not. I bought tickets solely to watch Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game. I made accommodations solely to get to Indiana to watch Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game. She's injured. I have no interest in that anymore. People are selling their tickets so much so they just want off of them. 121, okay. You want it for 100? Oh no, okay. I guess I gotta lower it to 80. Oh, you don't want to buy it for 80? Okay, I guess I'll lower it to 70. You don't want to buy it to 70? I guess I'll lower it to $64. The WNBA is paying attention to these trends, and they're seeing firsthand what Caitlin Clark is worth.
Her crew didn't just randomly pick Indianapolis to launch those Reeboks. Nope, they aimed for it. This was Clark's backyard, her city, her fans, and Reese pulled up like she owned the block. That sneaker drop wasn't just about selling kicks, it was a full-on statement. A bold flex, deep in rival territory. Let's keep it real. Reese splashed her "walk in your trap, take over your trap" motto all over Instagram like she was running a campaign straight at Clark. She even had Bankroll Fresh's "Take Over Your Trap" blasting on her story like it was her theme song. But Clark wasn't even medically cleared to hoop. So instead of looking like a showdown, it looked like she was flexing on someone stuck on the bench. And the fans? Oh, they were heated. Social media exploded with takes. A few were hyped up, calling Reese's move genius marketing. But way more people weren't feeling it, saying it came off as shady, insensitive, and just plain off. Folks were asking why Reese went that hard when Clark was out with an actual injury. And here's where it really hit different. Once Clark's injury was confirmed, most of the league pulled back. Players dialed it down, showing love and respect, keeping things about unity in the game. But Reese? She turned it all the way up. No pause, no cool down, just non-stop self-promo like nothing even happened. While other stars used the weekend to celebrate how far the WNBA's come, Reese was locked in on one thing: turning the spotlight into a solo rivalry with someone who wasn't even there to clap back. One video breakdown exposed the whole game plan. Reese's team wasn't clueless. They planned this. That whole campaign was built to stir drama, even if it got messy. For them, buzz was buzz. Didn't matter if it was love or hate as long as her name stayed in people's mouths. But what started as a power move started looking real off. Like she was trying to win beef with someone who couldn't even lace up. You're talking about taking over her city while she's injured and can't play? That ain't competition. That's flashy opportunism dressed up like a takeover.
We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans, but you know that if there was any way that she could be out.
One analyst didn't sugarcoat it. Straight up called it a completely one-sided rivalry. Reese was out here throwing shots with full energy, while Clark was on the bench dealing with a real injury. At some point, it just looked like Reese was beefing with thin air. And if you want the hard truth, just peep the numbers. That's where things really hit. Clark's pull on this league is serious. The second fans found out she was hurt, ticket prices for All-Star Weekend dropped fast. From $121 to $64, nearly half the price in just a few hours. That's not just a dip. That's a full collapse. That's how deep Clark's influence runs in the
story we have been following throughout the past 2 days surrounds a superstar herself, Caitlin.
Now with Reebok she's using. This is nonstop. She has attached herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn, and she has benefited. Let's be clear here. Yes, she does receive backlash. She does receive negativity, but she has benefited greatly. She has made millions of dollars off of attaching herself to Caitlin Clark and using her to make her brand bigger.
The second she was out, the hype flatlined. Not even Reese's loudest, flashiest promo could bring the energy back. And this wasn't some small dip. This was the market yelling loud and clear. No Clark, no fire. Without her, the WNBA's value took a major hit, nearly chopped in half. Before the injury news dropped, TickPick was showing All-Star Game tickets heading toward record-breaking territory, averaging $262 a seat. It was set to be the most expensive game in league history. But once Clark was ruled out, that hype vanished faster than Reese's credibility mid-campaign, and this goes way beyond just one weekend. Clark isn't just a moment, she's a movement. When she sat out a few regular season games in late May with a quad strain, ticket prices didn't just dip, they crashed. Fever road game prices dropped 47% in Washington and a wild 71% in Chicago. That's not regular star power, that's superstar economics. Clark doesn't just sell tickets, she shifts the whole business. Corporate sponsors and TV execs had to hit pause and scramble the minute she was off the court. Those WNBA experiences packages sold out weeks ahead, seats at the arena gone in hours. Local businesses went all in on the Clark effect. Restaurants hired extra staff, hotels hit max capacity, and the whole city geared up for something that felt like March Madness 2.0.
But when it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was there. The surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions, they're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was healthy.
This is a fake one-sided rivalry. We got Angel Reese taking more shots at Caitlin Clark unnecessarily. You in Indiana having a great time partying. We see all the clips. Why can't you just do your thing? Why can't you just do your thing?
Then out of nowhere, Clark's sidelined and the whole setup starts shaking. Merch sales dipped. Concession stands came up short. Hotel bookings got sketchy. It was a ripple effect that rocked everything connected to the weekend. Clark wasn't just a headliner, she was the engine keeping the whole machine running. Her absence didn't just mess with ticket sales, it hit the entire money flow around the event. And it exposed something the league probably didn't want to admit. Right now, the WNBA's momentum is riding on one person. That's a blessing. And a big-time risk. Yeah, Clark brings in the crowds. She fills arenas, drives up merch, and gets sponsors to throw bags like never before. But when she's not there, the whole structure starts cracking fast. Let's not sugarcoat it. The numbers don't lie. Folks already knew Clark was special, but seeing a 48% drop in ticket prices locked it in. She's the show right now. No one else in the league can move demand like that. The All-Star Weekend was built around her, and when she couldn't go, fans literally cut their value of the experience in half. That's not an opinion, it's cold, hard facts. And while all those numbers were free-falling, showing just how irreplaceable Clark really is, guess what happened next? The players picked that exact moment to launch a money protest. Just when fans were already feeling let down, WNBA players hit the court in warm-ups wearing shirts that read, "Pay us what you owe us." The message was loud, but the timing couldn't have hit worse. It was a bold stand, but it clashed hard with the vibe in the building. Ticket prices were already crashing. The league's top star, Caitlin Clark, was out. Fans were disappointed, and in the middle of that mess, players started demanding bigger paychecks. It hit different, and not in a good way. Folks were left wondering, did anybody even check the mood before going full protest mode? You've got an event that lost nearly half its value the second Clark was ruled out. And what did the players do? They picked that exact moment to push a money message. For fans who just watched their tickets lose 48% of their value overnight, it looked wild. Imagine dropping serious money for what was hyped as a historic weekend.
This is absolutely a one-sided rivalry. And we've got to say it like it is. Like, we can't say Caitlin needs to do this, Caitlin needs to do that. Let's be real. The only reason this is still a rivalry is because the other side of the rivalry won't stop it. And by the way, it is extremely beneficial for Angel Reese to be in this rivalry.
Reebok, Angel Reese are taking shots at Caitlin Clark, using her as promo. Angel Reese, let's be clear here. Let's just be all the way clear here. Angel Reese is a solid basketball player. Angel Reese 100% has benefited from attaching herself to Caitlin Clark at every single turn. Her podcast, the first 3 episodes, all the clips promoting was bringing up Caitlin Clark. It was bringing up Caitlin Clark and all of the promo. People wanted to know what she was gonna say. She used Caitlin Clark.
Only to find out the main star can't suit up, the energy's gone flat, and now players are asking for more cash on top of it? That's not just bad optics. That's a full-blown PR mess happening in real time. Right when the league's product is under the microscope, when it's clear that Clark's name is doing most of the heavy lifting, players step up and demand a bigger cut. And yeah, we get it. The WNBA is deep in collective bargaining talks right now. Players are fighting for legit changes, better flights, higher salaries, expanded rosters, and real support for moms in the league. But choosing that exact moment, it had fans scratching their heads and asking, why now? These are real issues, serious ones that deserve respect. But the timing? It made it look like nobody read the room at all. Social media blew up fast. Fans weren't shy about how they felt. People were calling out the messy optics, saying the whole thing looked less like a unified stand and more like a cash grab. Some were confused. Others were just plain mad. And one line kept popping up. How are you demanding more money when half the crowd only came to see the one player who's not even playing? The irony? Brutal. And it completely drowned out the message. The worst part? The real problems WNBA players face, like low pay, limited resources, and a growing gap between league profits and player salaries.
Angel Reese, I'm in your city. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. Post it on Instagram. There's about 15 fans there and Reebok put up a board. You would expect Reebok to put up a board. Let's never forget that when let's never forget the gigantic Caitlin Clark Nike billboard in Chicago. Let's never forget that. So if Reebok didn't put up a board for
Even with that massive $2.2 billion media rights deal coming in 2026, the focus shifted away from the players' cause and straight onto the chaos. The protest had something important to say, but the moment they picked, guaranteed nobody was listening. WNBA Players Association President Nneka Ogwumike didn't hold back either. She went straight at the league, calling them out for sticking with outdated salary caps instead of stepping up with real revenue sharing, and she wasn't wrong. But here's the thing. Other major leagues know when to go to war over contracts. They don't throw down in the middle of their biggest stage. They pick their battles smart. Meanwhile, this one? It had fans wondering why the league's biggest moment got turned into a distraction. You don't see NBA stars rocking protest tees at All-Star Weekend. The NFL ain't using the Super Bowl to air out pay disputes. There's a time and place to push for change, and this moment was not it. That's what made the whole situation feel off-key. The weekend was already shaky. First, Clark goes down. Then ticket prices nosedive. Fans are already bummed out, and on top of that, players show up demanding more money. It layered tension over what was supposed to be a celebration of how far the league's come. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert tried to calm the waters, calling the CBA talks productive and constructive. But players weren't buying the spin. To them, it felt like the league wasn't hearing them, so they brought the message straight to the hardwood. Now, the protest did highlight some real issues: low pay, weak resources, and a serious need for better conditions across the board. But in that moment, it came off like players were asking for bigger checks while the league's biggest draw was hurt and the hype was clearly fading. Even Clark herself said, "We should be paid more." But you'll notice, she wasn't the one wearing a protest shirt in warm-ups, and that right there might be why the message didn't land the way they wanted it to. Still, one truth stood loud and clear through all the noise. None of this changes the bottom line. This weekend made one thing obvious. Clark's not just a player. She's the engine of the WNBA's rise. When she's out, the league struggles. But when she's in, the whole game changes. The WNBA's breaking records and finally stepping into that mainstream spotlight. It's a brand new era in the making. But let's keep it real. Angel Reese can roll out all the flashy shoe drops she wants in Indy. She can slap "I'm in your city" on every billboard and pose like she's running things. But here's the truth. The numbers don't lie. And they don't bend for no promo stunt. With Clark sidelined, Reese was basically flexing in an empty gym. No real crowd, no real rivalry, and no one there to match that energy. Fans felt it, and a lot of them didn't even pull up. The hype? It fell flat without the main attraction in the building. But here's where it gets interesting. This whole mess just built up the perfect storm for an even bigger comeback. When Clark hits the court again, the energy's gonna explode. And with the Fever looking toward a wild 2025 championship run, you already know it's gonna be must-see TV. The hype's at a whole new level now. Drop a baby giraffe in the comments if you think Reese's whole campaign ended up backfiring. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to turn on all notifications so you never miss a second of the drama. And if you want more of this heat, click that next video on screen and keep the fire going. We'll catch you in the next one.